Hey everybody, hey, it's time for another of these car reviews, and today we're seeing Captain Marvel. All right, I don't have a whole lot of superhero stuff, so going with my Zelda hat, going with my, fat ass down there. No, going with my, luckily, first class shirt, so you can get a better view when it's not all crumpled up by my gut, but, what do I have to say right now about Captain Marvel? One, I don't know a whole lot about Captain Marvel, and I've been looking forward to this. I actually have been looking forward to having Samuel L. Jackson like fully in a MCU movie, because he really hasn't been the main focus in a while, and he's going to be one of the co-main focuses in this. I heard it's very 90s. I heard that the soundtrack is very 90s. And that the action sequences aren't as fast as modern day action sequences. Like, they really tried to do like a period piece. So my hope is that it's at least somewhat well done. Maybe it's a little slow, but hopefully it'll be entertaining. I've had some people say that it's great. Some people say that it's terrible. But I'll just have to see, and if we've got time, then I'll bring, Pat's coming with me. We'll see him, but I know that he might have parked in the same area that I parked in. So it might just be me doing the review this time, but we'll have to see. Nonetheless, I hope that at least it's an entertaining film, and that it gives us a little leeway into Avengers Endgame, which I am looking terribly to see. I was hoping that it would be like next week after this is done. But yeah, so look out for what we have to say, or what even just I have to say at the end of this video. So we will be seeing you soon. At least you'll see Pat and his initial reactions. All right. See you. All right, Pat.
Yes.
Here you are. Thoughts? Oh, there's Crystal over there in the background.
Okay, well, everybody keeps saying this is the death of Marvel and all this crap, and I can't think this would be that bad.
Oh, those are just trolls.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm very excited to see this movie, to see a younger Nick Fury before the eye, and and just to see what they do with this character, because, I mean, she's a big character in the comics, but doesn't get much love,
Well, hopefully she does.
Well, I mean, in general, though, like, even in the comics, she gets a lot of love.
And we get to see some Skrull ass-kicking, don't we?
And I'm hoping that eventually we get to see how Rogue really gets her powers.
Oh.
But that wouldn't be in this movie.
No, that's going to be later on. All right, so I've got Pat here, and we just got out of seeing Captain Marvel. Krampus is still up there. Say hi, Krampus.
Hey, Krampus. Sorry, I'm checking out the girl in the nice...
Oh, yes. That's the thing about doing these car reviews, is that, hey, we're over here by the mall and all the people walking back in there.
Hey, pretty lady. Oh.
But, yeah, so we just came out of Captain Marvel. And the first thing, before we even get into the movie, I'm going to complain about is the fucking trailers that were before this.
Oh, yeah.
They were terrible.
Not even one superhero at all. Like,
not
nothing.
A single one. There was anything. We got to see like Frozen 2, Ugly People Town, or where the fuck it's called.
That looked fucking stupid
with
as
fucking
hell.
Kelly Clarkson and Pitbull. Why the fuck is Pitbull doing a voice for a fucking movie? I don't fucking know. There was one trailer that maybe was worthwhile. I know I heard you go like, oh, okay, well, that's okay.
Which one?
I don't know. It was one shortly before Frozen. See, it's so memorable, I fucking forgot. It just terrible. I mean, you guys couldn't have given us at least an Avengers trailer or something. I get it. You don't want to put it out because you want Captain Marvel to get its hype, and then in a couple weeks we're going to get the Avengers trailer. I get it. But come on, there's got to be something better.
Teaser trailer. They could have shown that
They
first
could have shown
trailer.
this teaser trailer. You're right. They could have shown anything, but the 30 minutes of fucking trailers for a 2-hour and something fucking movie. It's 1 o'clock. We saw it supposedly started at 10:30, and it didn't. They need to start like, okay, instead of that half an hour before you watch the movie, do all your trailer shit at that point.
Yes,
because we get in there about a half an hour. Munir Menudos, Skeletor.
Man, watch my trailers.
But really, though, they could do some of the trailers and stuff like that during that time instead of whatever they're doing, and then you should get. I know it's probably this is an old comedic joke or some shit like that, but get your trailers better, okay?
Yeah.
Hopefully
step up that trailer game.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying hopefully before Endgame we're gonna finally get the last Star Wars trailer, and then we'll see from there.
So real quick, I'm gonna say, I'm not necessarily a spoiler. You know, they always do the Marvel thing opening up.
Oh, that was awesome.
It was all Stan Lee from his cameos and just random him on sets and stuff like that. I thought that was awesome. So kudos to that one. I don't know. I guess I don't want to say his cameo, but it was.
We're gonna try to do light spoilers. There's probably gonna be something that we have to say something about, but it's not gonna be anything that's integral to the plot. And then I did like his cameo in this one, and spawned from it. There's like now a change.org, fucking stupid petitions, but to have Kevin Smith replace Stan Lee as the go-to cameos.
I heard they want Deadpool.
I think the Deadpool would be kind of cool. Just have him randomly show up. You know, he's already going to be Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Detective Deadpool. Just, he's not going to be fucking cursing the entire time that he's going through when he's talking to everybody. But
shit.
Yeah, I know. God, motherfucking Monchomp or whatever that's called. Squirtle.
Pika fucking Choo! But no, I know, it's like, we're trying to get to the movie here, but...
I know we're trying to get to the movie, we're just going through. So, again, like I said, minor spoilers, so that, because again, there's some things I think that we just maybe can't say about it. But
let me just say, though, they really pushed that you're in the 90s.
They did, and that's one of the things I said before we got together, is that it really felt like a 90s period piece. Everywhere from, honestly, the action, the way that the action was done, because it wasn't like really this fast-paced type of action that you get a lot of these comic book movies. Everything was relatively, like, slowed down to some extent. Mm-hmm. Even the amount of CG, a lot of stuff tend to be a little more practical. The soundtrack was definitely 90s,
yep.
80s, 90s type of soundtrack. It definitely was, I thought it was a good soundtrack. I think it was misused at times, or like, it was so goddamn cheesy when they did it, you know, like towards the end of the film when, fucking No Doubt Not, I'm Just a Girl starts playing. Yeah. I was like, come on, really? This is fucking cheesy.
They really pushed to the limits of the girl power thing, and I thought that was a little stupid. Like, because it started making the character look ridiculous, in my opinion. And it's not a sexist thing or nothing like that, because this was all about Captain Marvel. We know Captain Marvel is well, technically it's Miss Marvel, is a female character, and I have no problems with that. But like, they just try to dial that up to the extreme, you know. It was a little much.
Here's the thing: is that you have to compare this to Wonder Woman. You don't really have a choice, because that's DC's like, if you want to call it a girl power movie, and this would be Marvel's girl power movie. I felt that Wonder Woman didn't focus on like the girl power stuff. Like or if it did, I didn't fucking notice it at all. It wasn't like blatantly in front of my face, where I felt that some of that in here, and I'm not against the empowerment and stuff like that, because there were some really cool things, and when they did do that were great for this, but it was really like, okay, in your face, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna focus on, oh yeah, all girls are fucking powerful, and I'm just like,
well, that's the thing, that's what I'm saying. Wonder Woman did it subtly. I'm a strong woman, I'm here to just fight, and blah blah blah. Perfect. That's how it should be.
It's great, and it's a great symbol.
Hey, look, I'm a girl, I'm just a girl, and I'm gonna hit you in the face. Like, I mean, that kind of shit.
I feel like it was the difference also between Gal Gadot and Brie Larson in terms of the way that she did the role, right? I think that Gal Gadot really kind of took that role and embodied the character without seeming like a little snarky, where I felt like Brie Larson was like, yeah, I'm that powerful. Yeah. Like that type of like thing. And it's, again, you know, we could get slammed for whatever we say, but it's not about the anti-girl message or whatever like this. It's just that I felt like, again, this was a little more in your face than what Wonder Woman was. And I'm going to say I like both films. I honestly like Wonder Woman more than I like this. I'm not saying that Captain Marvel's a bad movie. I'm just saying it's not like this utterly fantastic movie. Like, where Wonder Woman I felt failed was the ending and the last fight scene between it, right? Like, it turned CGI, she's this badass fucking fighter, and the reason it happened was because Gal Gadot was pregnant. That's the only reason you have a CGI fight scene at the end of that movie. Whereas in this one, I felt like it was just kind of like a little ham-fisted in a lot of parts, and, you know, but it still had like good action. Like, you felt the brevity of her hits. Like when she beat on people, you felt like the weight of everything and how powerful she actually was. And I liked that about the film. And maybe that was that like period piece type of thing where it felt like it was the 90s.
Well, and then the other thing I had a big problem with is that how she got her powers. They completely changed that. And the fact that they made Marvel a female character.
Yeah, like, spoiler on that one.
Yeah, okay, spoiler, but like...
But we said minor spoilers already.
Yeah, yeah. The Marvel character was a big character. He was, I know a little bit more about the comics, but I don't know total. So I don't want to say something and sound stupid. But them two were, loved each other and all this stuff. They had this great connection. And I believe if I remember right, he transfers his powers to her. But like...
I believe so.
They completely changed that. Now it's this old woman, Creed person. I just don't like that. Why do you have to change it? Why do you have to make it? That's where, once again, they're throwing the whole girl power thing in your face.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I think that the male Captain Marvel type of thing was kind of portrayed in Jude Law's character. And I think that, for what the evolution of that character ended up being in this film, I thought that was good for that character, because it did kind of throw me for a loop a little bit in the middle of the movie, but I feel like they revealed it way too early, like what was going to go on and how everything was going to progress. I do think that they, like I said, that they did, they took some of that lore, but they transferred it to that character rather than it being Captain Marvel that encompassed the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was cool in the beginning to see some of the returning characters from like Guardians of the Galaxy with the Kree show up. I was like, oh, hey, it's that guy. Like, he's a part of the group, but I wish we had seen a little more.
Yeah.
I think that Sam Jackson was relegated a little bit more to like a comedic role for his Nick Fury. And I don't know if I really wanted that. Like, I kind of wanted to see him kicking a little more ass, which he did, but...
I don't like how they try to portray that's how he had the eye.
I kind of like it, actually. I like, especially at the end of the movie, when they make the joke about it. And he's like, I'll neither confirm nor deny that. The whole character of Goose, I thought that was really well done and relative. Like, the humor, again, it's Marvel humor. Like, I think it's really well done. And I think that there were just times where you can definitely feel like it was directed by two people. And at times it felt a little disjointed, like they weren't working in sync. Like, here, these are your scenes. Here, these are my scenes. Yeah. And you kind of get it like that. But the biggest thing, of course, is to talk about Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. What were your thoughts?
There's not really much anything to compare it to. You know what I mean? Like, anything they ever really did with Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel is basically cartoon stuff. So, I mean, like I said, there was stuff that you were saying, like wasn't real subtle. It's just like that whole little attitude of, yeah, I'm just that powerful. But once again, I think that's just the way she was directed as this whole girl power bullshit that they try to push through the whole movie. And like I said, I mean, overall, I think she did a fine job. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with a girl superhero at all. Like, if I did have a problem with a girl superhero, I wouldn't be here. I'm not one of these trolls on the internet. The way you want to put it as we're equal, but then you're trying to shove extra shit in people's face. That's where it's just like...
Well, it's funny because when I was talking to Dave a little bit yesterday, hi Dave,
Dave,
and he had seen it before me, and he was telling me a little about it, and he said this is the worst movie since Ghost Rider. Like, he absolutely hated this movie.
Have you ever seen Iron Man 3?
I don't know if he has ever seen it, but supposedly it's somebody's favorite movie. And so it was really like, I was trying to take that, like, part of me in the back of my head wish I hadn't heard that. And I was really trying to, like, look at some things. I was like, well, okay, in terms, it's not, I don't think it's that terrible. I don't think it's the worst Marvel film. I don't think it's one of the best Marvel films out there. I'd say it's kind of middle of the road. You know where I would put it in terms of the current Marvel universe is actually Iron Man 2. Because Iron Man 2, I felt like after the success of Iron Man being so awesome and so great and everything I wanted to fucking see about Iron Man on the screen, and then I heard, oh, fucking Whiplash is coming onto the screen. This is going to be great. The trailers looked fantastic. And then the movie was just mediocre.
Better than Iron Man 3.
Well, of course it's better than Iron Man 3, you know. But it's one of those films where it was like, okay, I wish it was just missing something. And I feel like Captain Marvel's just missing something. And because it's an origin story, and maybe that's what it is, when you have things that are pre-existing, like, the thing is, like, Black Panther would be the other one you compare it to, but you got the character in Civil War.
Yeah.
And you actually got a lot of the character in Civil War.
And then when he had his own movie, there was a little bit of pretense of what the Black Panther is, but it was all current.
Correct. So there was, you know, with this, we've never really, besides the end of Avengers Infinity War, we've never really heard of this character. Other than, in the Marvel Universe, I would say. Other than, you know, people know of the character, and they were going to make a movie of the character. But there wasn't anything that was like, oh, well, here's Captain Marvel, and then now you've been introduced to her, and then she's going to come back in her own movie. Like, I kind of like the way they did that with Black Panther versus the way they did it with her, because honestly, a lot of the Marvel origin story movies are kind of weak and kind of okay. The only ones that I could say that I've really enjoyed, at least in this MCU, have been Captain America and Iron Man. I thought that both of those were really good films, even though critically, Captain America was not as well received.
I just feel like, same thing we're talking about Wonder Woman, like, I feel like it would have been better as a current movie with flashbacks or something. Like, it's just that...
something maybe before the Infinity War happened, sometime before.
Well, I meant, like, I'm talking about with Wonder Woman, like, but the same thing with Captain Marvel is like they went that same thing. It's like, well, you're showing, the symbol. So now they're trying to explain who Captain Marvel is or Miss Marvel is. And then you go back in time, and it's just, like you said, when you have all this stuff that's current, none of it's been a prequel like that.
No.
Everything's been current. Now this one movie goes, back in time.
And that's because they need to set it up. Her. Yeah, because she's going to be the hero.
But they should have...
Well, I think her and probably Ant-Man at the same time.
I think that's part of the thing, though, is like, if they would have had more mentioning of her somehow. Like, where Fury could have just said, well, back, when I first started and met this person with extraordinary abilities, maybe you want to find more, something. But they never, I don't know.
They never really did anything else for the character, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there could have been a lot more. She could have been mentioned over time or whatever to give you a little more familiarity. But again, it's an origin movie, so you have to sit through all the origin stuff and you have to understand it. And I think, like I said, not to repeat, but I think it's a good movie. I don't think it's a great movie.
Yeah, wouldn't be my top 5 for sure. But can I watch it again? Yeah. I enjoyed it, and...
Is it important to watch it for Avengers Endgame?
Probably not.
I would say yes to an extent. You could probably watch maybe half of it, at least to understand the character if you really wanted to.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, all right.
You can watch the first stinger. Just skip the whole movie, watch the first stinger, and then, you're ready for Endgame.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, Pat, so overall, what would you give the film?
Are we going out of 5?
Out of 5, like we always do.
All right. I'll give it 3. I'm trying to think of what I should say here. 3, I'm just the girls.
Oh, Jesus. I'm giving it 3 gooses out of 5. It's, I don't know if maybe a spoiler on this, but I don't know if the second stinger is really worth it, and I called it.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of funny. The other thing is with the Skrulls, I guess we should say before we leave. When
did the Skrulls turn evil? Because...
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Once again, I think give away a big plot twist.
That gives a big plot twist away, but this is at the end if anybody's actually watching it. But yeah, when does that happen? It happens at some point, but you'll see it when you watch the film. So, with that being said, Pat, you can plug yourself real fast.
Yeah, Paranormal Pat. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Paranormal Pat 64. You can email me at paranormalpat64@gmail.com if you have anything paranormal story. Maybe you're a medium, want to get on and talk about some encounters you've had, or investigators. You can find my podcast, Paranormal Pativity Podcast, on Instagram, Spotify, and
About to show these boys how
Yes,
we
and if
do
you've
it.
ever gotten your ass kicked by a scroll, go ahead
for
and
the
give them
foster
an
babies.
email as well.
Higher.
Now, of course, you can always find the podcast and all the normal links inside the comments below. And check out the latest episode on Kroll, because every time I say scroll, I want to actually say Kroll. And I keep having to correct myself in the back of my brain. And then the next
Try to keep
episode
up.
is going to be episode 100 of the podcast, which will be heavy metal. So please make sure that you check out the podcast and catch up before episode 100 when everything's released. And we have a special gift for everybody, which I'm still not saying what it is. So you'll see it, or you'll hear it when it's there. So with that being said, we will catch you later for the next, probably the next car review like this is probably going to be us, or it could be something different. We'll see.
with all superpowers, man, I think of them super sandwiches.
I know.
Make
Make sure that you go Super Saiyan before you fight the Kree too.